Divorce at 50 feels like your whole life has just been ripped apart. Your retirement plans, your future plans, where are you going to go? I've been through it. I lived through it. There's some really tough times that I went through. And, this channel that I've developed, my name is Ranch Baines. I am the operator of this small channel called The Inner Reset. The Inner Reset is a channel I made just because through divorce at that age and the uncertainties, I had to dig deep down inside myself and find out, first of all, why did my divorce happen? What can I do to fix it? What were the causes? A lot of things happened. You go through a lot of emotions, right? You blame your spouse, your ex, you blame almost anybody but yourself. But then you realize that, it takes two to tango in a marriage, right? Most people, they break up for, well, obviously some people may cheat, some will lose communication, the love lust is gone, and you just become roommates after a while. So in my case, it was a little bit of the communication and just being roommates. That feeling was just gone. We didn't have any marital affairs and that kind of stuff. So I had to really dig deep inside and find out what was it? What did I do that didn't make this last? So I had a few issues. I was a social drinker. I drank, well, you can call it, I binge drinked. I was on the weekends, that kind of stuff. I would go out and, you know, hang out. If there was a party or just a random get together, I would get drunk and it would affect my kids. I have two boys. They would see it. Of course, your spouse would see it. People around you would see it. And it was just not a good scene. Parties galore, but guess what? Dad's coming home hammered, head against the the window, and getting home, and then hearing about it the next day. Um, so you feel like you're having a good time and you're partying, but people look at you. And I realized one thing with the inner part of me, the inner reset, it doesn't matter what other people think about you. It should never matter. So when I look back at those days, yeah, I realized I wasn't doing things properly. But now that I'm divorced and I moved on, I had to tell people, you know what? That was my life. I went through it. I'm a better person for it. And I worked hard to get back to where I am. Now, today, I don't drink as much as I used to. I usually have, the odd beer, maybe a hard drink, maybe once a week. But a lot of, so I've been able to find that out. That was one of my problems. Two, just being lazy. I was one of those guys who would go to work. She would do all the cooking and the banking and all that kind of stuff, and I would sit on the sofa watching sports with my clicker. I'd be just watching TV all night, or have some fun with my two little boys. It just gets too much because, well, the fighting starts. Like, you're not doing anything. You're just laying on the sofa. You're being lazy and this and that. So, thirdly, it was just I just didn't want to do anything. I was lazy. I just didn't want to go out to see a lot of people, hang out with friends, and that kind of stuff. So it became very boring, to be honest with you. Um, and then going back to how I came up with this title for this channel's Inner Reset, again, not to be repetitive, but I needed to find out what is going on. I can sit here and blame her all day long. Like, it's her fault, her fault. It's because she was just being a nag. But it actually was the both of us. We didn't have this communication. People say to me, then why'd you get married? I should go back a step. I was married 25 years to my ex, okay? And I used to hear these stories from family and friends. Well, it took you guys 25 years to figure out you guys weren't a match. But what it was that I was always grown up and told by my parents is whatever happens within your family is private. You don't go out there and say, oh, I'm having problems at home and blah, blah, blah. So other people get to know your issues. So we kept everything inside, hoping we would be able to fix it. And that's one thing I learned also after divorces. I don't care about what people think anymore. There was somebody inside me who wanted to come out. I just didn't let him out, right? Like I just kept him inside and bottled up everything, stressed myself out, which led to the drinking and whatever, right? So, one thing I would tell you, be very, very happy of what's inside. You need to let that out, okay? Be the person that you always wanted to be. Be the person that when you were a child growing up says, when I grow up, I want to be blah, 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 or I want to do this. You should have done it, or you can aim for it. Do things that you said you want to do but never did it. Just go out and do it. Do one thing. Say, oh, well, I would love to, I don't know, play golf. Well, then go buy a pair of golf clubs and go to the driving range and start your new hobby, right? Learning to say no, saying no to things. Before it was, yeah, sure, buddy, I'll help you out. Or, yeah, I can help you out. If you don't have time, you don't have time. And if you want your time, you make your time, right? So always make time for yourself. Now, people say to me, who's your number one? During my marriage, it was my spouse. It was second were my kids. And then I put myself on the back burner, right? But after divorce and letting this all out and doing a whole bunch of stuff, I found out, you know what? The number one person is me. I'm the person who I should be taking care of. I'm number one in life, right? In my culture, I come from an Indian background, okay, South Asian, and old school values, traditions, and all that stuff, it gets in the way, right? People talk. What are people going to say? Screw them, really. It doesn't matter what they say. They didn't live my life. They didn't know what was going on. So who are you to judge what I go through? And I'm telling you, the way I'm talking on this video today, I could have never done this. I would sit in the corner. I'd be shy. I wouldn't do anything. But my voice came. And I was growing up in whatever. I was just basically like I had a lid on a jar. You couldn't crack that lid open. And finally the lid came off and boom, this person came out. And that's another thing. If you're afraid to say things, talk to them. Okay? I'm going to share a bit of a personal story. In 2021, I lost 7 friends, associates, to suicide in 1 year. Again, another one was divorce. Some people just took their lives and you don't know why. There was drugs involved in another, in a couple actually, and one passed away. We had a stroke, but it's still a hurtful feeling when you have people you were close to just go away. And I'm going to tell you guys, that changed me. This is why I made this channel. This is why I've written books that are on Amazon, by the way. Links are all in the bio. But I needed a reset. I had to have a checklist of what I wanted. And so I'm not perfect. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor. I am a life coach. So eventually when I can build this channel and people, get familiar with what I'm talking about, I'm going to open up one-on-one chats with people, right? And then these are real life experiences for me. And I want to share these experiences. What I did for myself may not work for you. That's fine. But at least it's something that you can say, well, hey, Rand said this on his Inner Reset channel. I'm going to try it. I always wanted to learn how to play basketball. I'm going to go buy myself a basketball. I'm going to go down to the court and I'm going to shoot some hoops. I may be crappy as heck. I may not even have air balls galore, but at least you went, you tried it. Okay. Again, my career also, I was worried about retirement. What am I going to do? I'm at 50. I didn't have a union job. I didn't have a corporate job where I had a pension. I worked for an automotive dealership, and in the dealership world, it's very cutthroat. If you get fired, you're done. You got nothing, right? You got no pension, you got nothing. So after divorce, I decided to give up my 30-year career of automotive and just quit. Give it all up. And I decided to become a bus driver for the local city that I live in, which is Vancouver, BC, Canada. So I became a bus driver for 2 years. And it was the toughest time. I was like, wow, you're a bus driver. And people would say to me, are you crazy? You're a bus driver now? But it was the best thing ever. I may have struggled for 2 years being a bus driver, but it humbled me. Okay. But the positives out of it was I was getting a pension. I had benefits. I had job security. Like I had it all. And my hours are perfect. And I even work 3 days from home now. So it's awesome for me. And now I slide into retirement, hopefully in the next 6, 7 years. It's easy street for me, right? And I look forward to it. So sometimes you gotta make these desperate changes that's gonna make you happy. If you want, growing up and you wanted to be a firefighter, you wanted to be a policeman, go take the training, go take some courses, learn it, take some supervisor skill courses. I don't know, do something that is out of the norm. If you do something that's out of the norm and it's not your cup of tea, learn to embrace change. And it can bring on anxiety. It can bring on a lot of stuff. But remember, guys, with anxiety, even through divorce, we've gone through it. Anxiety is just something that you can't predict, right? It hasn't happened yet. So why are you anxious? So you need to get over that mental state too. And while I was doing some reading and learning about life coaching, there's two parts of your brain, right? And they're not actually very psychological stuff. One's called, it's called saboteurs. A saboteur is basically what it's on. Something in your brain is sabotaging you, that you're not good enough, right? Oh, you're gonna write this exam, you're not gonna pass. Oh, I'm not gonna pass, I'm gonna fail. Oh, I have this driving test. Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna fail it. I'm not gonna be able to do it. But have you ever turned that side of your brain off? Psychologically say, okay, don't say no. Don't say, you know what? I got this test tomorrow and I got it. I'm going to do it. I'm going for the job interview tomorrow. It's going to be a piece of cake. Go for it. Positive affirmations will get you to where you want to go. Okay. Remember, anxiety, nothing's happened yet. So don't predict failure. Okay. That's the biggest thing. Be the person you want to be. Make that inner reset, the channel. Make these changes. Don't be afraid of people judging you, because who gives a crap, really? Let them judge you all they want. And then you know what you do when you do succeed? You go on and you prove them wrong, right? Marriage isn't it for everybody. And there's probably a lot of you out there and say, well, this guy's talking like it's, well, whatever. Marriage is great when it's working. But men, we forget one thing in our marriages. And if I could give any advice to somebody who's watching this who is still married, do the small things. Do small acts of kindness for your partner. Grab the grocery bags for her. Don't let her carry anything. Open the car door for her. Write her a note. Let her sleep in. Take her food. Leave notes. Like all these things of, oh, that's like, as masculine men, we're not going to do that kind of stuff because we think it's whatever. But you don't understand how it makes that person feel. It makes them feel special, right? And if you don't show that, and I tell people, I wrote my book that I wrote, it was called Today I'm a Better Man. I wrote a 52-page book, and in that book, it's cartoonish, basically. It's a clip art with a couple of sentences. You know, let her sleep in, bring her breakfast to bed. And that was page 1. I made 52 pages because if you did one of those acts per week, she will remember that one act for 3 or 4 days after, right? Women don't forget, okay? They remember a little bit of kindness, they're going to run with it. They're going to tell their friends. They're going to tell everybody, say, hey, guess what my husband did yesterday? He let me sleep and he brought me breakfast, made me coffee. And guess what? He did the dishes the week before that. He just told me to sit down and rest. That's how you build relationship. I had a friend, and he's unfortunately one of the ones that had passed away. He passed away from an illness, but anyways, may he rest in peace. But he used to buy his wife a rose, one single rose, every week. And they were made for over 20 years. And that he had to bring a rose home, and she expected it. And that kept their marriage alive. So divorce is hard. And it's emotionally draining. You don't know what's going to happen. The future is unknown. You don't know what's going to happen next. But you have to go out there and do what's best for yourself. All right? So go out there, do what you guys have to do. I'm here. Put a link in the comment. If you have a question, you want to make a video of it, I can do that for you. If you even want to, bring up some topics, let me know. But Inner Reset, I'm here to help men who are struggling after divorce and want to move on and to be better men. But remember, have discipline, enjoy your life, and do what makes yourself happy. Don't worry what other people say. Check me out. This is Inner Reset.